Natalie, you all right?
Yeah, very, very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Perry Groves was just saying there that perhaps Manchester City aren't that force that they once were. Do you agree with that, or do you feel as though actually, looking at their current form right now, they're kind of getting back to being their best?
For me, I can see why Perry is saying what he's saying, but they still create, I think, on average, something like 12 to 16 chances a game. I think the only difference from last year or the year before is they're not taking the amount of chances they did before to blow the teams away. But I think as soon as obviously those chances start getting converted, then I think that the conversation is going to be completely different.
So, Shaun, isn't that the key with Sergio Aguero? Like the goal that he scored during the week, I don't think Jesus scores that because it's instinct. You know what I mean? It's just your brain telling you where to be without actually, you can't learn that in training or coaching. And I don't think Jesus has got that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think with Aguero, some goals he scores, if you say a lot of them is definitely something he always has and has never been taught. And I think they're two different strikers. I think Jesus it does great for City and scores goals, but and for me, Aguero's a hard striker to replace.
What do you make of Manchester City's season so far, Shaun? Because it was a sort of tentative start, shall we say, to their campaign. But as I mentioned, they're sort of getting their form back. 6 clean sheets in a row, for example, from all competitions.
Like you said, the start was a bit tricky. I think it was a bit tricky for all teams, to be honest, in the Premier League with the lack of pre-season and a lot of injuries cropping up with the COVID and stuff like that. But I think now that they're getting fitter, you can see they're starting to press very high again and winning the ball back early against a lot of teams, whereas I don't think that was there at the beginning of the season. So I think the more they go on, it seems like they're getting stronger. And I think Ruben Diaz coming in the middle has been amazing for us. I think you can see he's a leader in the way he plays for someone so young.
Do you think it'll suit him being away?
I don't actually know, I think no matter how bad people may say United have been playing or how well they've been playing, when it comes to the derby games, as everyone knows, everything's completely different. It's like all the negative or the positive stuff is gone. It's just down to this game, and this is all that they'll be focusing on.
I wish you told the Arsenal players that, Shaun, on Sunday. Gonna give them a little team talk. This is a derby. Remember who you're playing for? Oh, dear. But so I just thought because Manchester United being the home team might have to come on to City a little bit more.
Yeah, but I don't think they will. That's like I had a chat with some friends, and I was speaking about Old Trafford. Like when I used to play that it was nervous to go there. It was like every team was thinking about defending before attacking. Whereas now I think people are going there thinking they can beat United at Old Trafford, and I think the fear factor's gone, which is a worry.
But it is interesting, isn't it? Because form, when it comes to a derby, can go out the window. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got the better of Pep Guardiola 3 times last season, twice in the league, and then once in the League Cup semi-final on that second leg, although obviously Manchester City still won that tie overall. So there is something about Solskjaer and Pep and being able to get the better of him.
I think in the last few games, I wouldn't say last few games for City, you've seen, like, for example, I'll give you the Spurs game where City played Spurs. Now, if you have a quality team that I think defend well and still have that deadly threat up front, I think that the problem that has been caused that City have struggled to deal with, where the quality, they can have 2 chances and score 2 goals basically. And when you have good defenders that can concentrate for like 90 minutes and ain't really going to make a mistake, then it becomes a bit tougher to break them down in the City ways. What I've noticed this year, even the half chances we get, we don't score without Aguero. That would be a key thing that stood out to me.
Go on, sorry, Bob.
No, sorry, you played for top managers, and you know that a lot of what managers do is all about their personality. Perry brought it up, so I'm going to ask you anyway because you've been around this game. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, has he got that, that absolute quality, charisma, the X
aura
that makes you a successful Premier League manager? Because there is something, it's more than just the ability to coach, isn't it?
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. Like the managers that I did play under, they actually, it felt like they lived and breathed every moment of us on the pitch. It's almost like every tackle we went through, every run we went through, they went through it with us. And sometimes when I watch Ollie, it doesn't seem like that's there. He seems like dead chilled and a more laid back character, whereas I think sometimes that can rub off on players. Like you see Mourinho and you see even Klopp, how passionate they are and how involved they get on and off the field with every move that happens. And I think, I feel like as a manager, you need that, not just the ability to coach.
Who was the manager for you then, Shaun? I know you've played a lot of top managers, but the one manager you thought, I'm going to run through brick walls for him. I feel he makes me feel $1 million.
Do you know what? I would honestly say there was 3 for me. I would say Joe Royle was one because he was the first one for me.
On his man management style, Joe Royle was notorious for that, wasn't he?
Yeah, he just he had the anger side when he was there, when we wasn't doing it right. But that belief factor in the player never ever left, even though he was angry. It was more of a disappointment because I know you could do a lot better than that sort of thing.
Your dad, oh no, I've let my dad down.
Yeah. So, but as to and then I thought Mark Hughes was outstanding. Like when I went back to City, I thought the way he had the players playing, that was at the time where the tide turned between Man City and Arsenal, and Man City were dominating Arsenal in a way, home and away sometimes. And then I think Mourinho for me as well was a really, really big one, because it was tough for me there, going from City playing all the time to not possibly playing as much as I wanted, and playing with so many big players around me, having to realize that in certain game situations, I don't have to do it myself. There's other people that can do it too, and not to focus on trying to beat people every single time I got the ball and share the workload basically. So I think those 3 managers, they made me believe I could actually run through walls, even though I know I couldn't. They still on the pitch. I just thought whoever I came up against,
you mentioned
bring it on basically.
Sorry, Shaun, you mentioned Mourinho there. We've been talking about him earlier, with Dele Alli, and sort of he's fallen out with him. Do you feel that he was testing you, Mourinho? Because he tests players, doesn't he?
Yeah, I feel like there's that in a lot of managers in the Premier League. I think he is out there more because he seems to do it with the bigger players in a way. But I think Dombele is the best example. He spoke out publicly about him. Everybody knew how he felt about him. Dombele had just come here, so he was fresh to it, trying to learn and get settled. And he's come into like a tornado, basically, of what the English Premier League is about. And he was out of favour. He put his head down and worked hard and got the gist of the way Mourinho wants to play. And now when you see him play, I would possibly say at the minute, he's possibly one of the best midfielders in the Premier League for me.